That went well. Am I live? Oh, I'm live. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and people who identifies as others, and welcome to this great evening of racing we have for you. It is the season start of the SSRI GT3 Season 6 Tier 2 Championships. Up the confetti, everyone. What a season we have ahead of us. Obviously starting here on wonderful Spa Francorchamps. The greatest track on earth, as some people might say. I'm just trying to get everything set up while I'm doing a little bit of talking. We have a brand new season, a brand new format as well. God damn it. We will not see the brand new format that much here in the first race. Except that we'll have a new class for everyone to enjoy here in the Tier 2 of the championship. We have the, as always, silvers and amateurs, but this time out we also have the rookie class. So we'll have 3 different classes fighting for podiums. Quick look on the screen at the minute. You can see the schedule for this second tier of SSRI GT3 racing here in Season 6. Starting off at Spa Francorchamps, the 75-minute races that we all know and love from last season. 1 mandatory pit stop. You basically just have to come in and take a liter of fuel if that's what you want. You can change tires as well if that is your preferred strategy. But then again, already in 2 weeks' time or next week for the Tier 1 guys, we'll go to Red Bull Ring, where we'll have the first ever double-headed sprint race with a reversed grid on ACC. What a great spectacle that will be. But that's Red Bull Ring, the 20-minute race first. They'll be qualifying beforehand. 20-minute race, and then the 45-minute race will be reverse grids. Then on to Imola and Laguna Seca afterwards. 75-minute races as per usual, and then yet another sprint and on Indianapolis to finish off the season. And what a season finale that will be with the sprint racing. Can't wait for it, honestly. Oh, well, maybe it's a bit too early to say that now. It sounds like we don't want to be here, but I guarantee you we all want to be here and watch this. Please don't tune away from this channel. We enjoy your company very much, and we'll try to answer every question that will be asked in the YouTube chat throughout these events. Nevertheless, tonight we'll see, I was about to say the return of Richard Prixley, but he obviously got promoted into Tier 1 from last season. But we do have some household names. We have, for instance, Mr. Frank Hobb, who missed out on the promotion by so little. He was in prime position to take it last season, heading into the final race, but he just couldn't manage to put it together for that final race at at Valencia and some other big crashes there. What a season we had, and I think that we will replicate that this time out. Or at least the drivers will try to replicate it this time out. And now I can't get the broadcast app to work. We'll get that going for the next race. I assume that my trusty cameraman, Grandpa Chris Hill, he'll whisper everything I need to know into my ears for this wonderful event. Anyways, we still have a little bit of time before we go into qualifying, so yes, I think we'll go on to a quick track guide. Maybe I'm being told in the back of my head that will come through. Here we go, coming down the endurance start finish, the run into one of the most famous corners in motorsports, Eau Rouge and Raidillon, of course it is. Here we go, flying up Eau Rouge. It is such a steep hill. You won't believe it until you've been there in real life. No video games does this justice, but ACC does a pretty good job of it. LMU as well. Onto the Camel Straight with Camel King. Long run. Good overtaking opportunities before we go into the Laguna complex. Big braking zone. The right-hander into the left and right again. Difficult corners to take. Some drivers like to take all of the curb on the inside, getting the wheels over. Some don't. It's important to get the car back to the left-hand side before heading into this right-hand, as you want to be on the throttle as quick as possible. Big opportunity for track warnings. On the exit of that corner, into Brussels we go, down the hill. Difficult 180 hairpin. First or second gear, preference of drivers, of course, into No Name, Commentator's Corner, Jackie X Corner, depending on what generation you're from. Once again, track cuts could be a thing on the exit of that corner, before I go into yet another of the most famous corners in motorsports. The mighty Pouong. Very fast, even in the GT3 cars. It's a big mouthful to get through this corner correctly, as the car definitely wants to understeer out of that one. Unless you have two aggressive setups, then you might find your car trying to just kill you through it. Into the complex of corners that I always forget the name of. Right-hander, left-hander. Difficult to balance the car here for many of the drivers and many of the cars. They are very tiptoey through into Stavelo and Paul Frere we go. Very important corners as well. Big opportunity for track cuts both on the exit here and the exit of the next right-hander. You want to get as early on the throttle as possible, as this will determine your speed all the way up towards the bus stop, the final corner on the track, or at least for the counting laps. But before we get to the bus stop, we obviously have to navigate through we get another one of the great famous corners from this track. Of course, Blanchimont that we're going through at the minute. It doesn't look so terribly sharp on any track maps or on photos, but trust me, that is a sharp corner into the bus stop chicane. Difficult to get the car slowed down, also good overtaking and getting it rotated correctly. Big place to win or lose time. And then, of course, over the start-finish line and into La Source, we go to choose. Well, for the first corner, next lap around, but the track guide obviously started from where the race will start. And back down to the start-finish straight again, or at least the start straight for this event. Not the finish, of course, as that will be on the Grand Prix start-finish line. But yeah, one great lap of this mighty track. If anyone's out there who have something to say about this great track, then feel free to comment in the YouTube. And while you're at it, hit the like, subscribe, and maybe even hit the bell button to be notified when we go live here on SSRI for these great events. As we are getting suspiciously close to qualifying, we're actually just waiting for the drivers to finish their final practice laps until we'll get some great live action from Spa, the first live action of the second tier this time around. Weather could become a factor, of course, in these races, but taking into account from what we saw last week, it was a completely dry, overcast, of course, in the race for a great period of time, but no rain showed up. I wonder if the tier 2 guys will be equally lucky, or for some maybe even unlucky. Whether or not you like the rain or not, it's a big question. But we are heading into it now. We just have a few more drivers who are circulating in practice. it will be so good to see all the new liveries for the cars, what the livery creators have come up with this time around. We'll try and get a good look on as many of the custom liveries as possible, of course. We can't guarantee that we'll catch all of them, but we'll most certainly do our best to do so. Yes, that was a brief moment of silence, and you know how no one likes silence on this channel. Anyways, expectations for the first season, you might ask me. Thank you for asking. Oh well, for the first race of season, chaos, absolute chaos. It normally goes like that in these series. The first race are always chaotic, as no one knows exactly where they'll be in the field. Many of the drivers in new cars, they'll maybe jump a few places up the competitive rankings as they get into maybe a little bit more competitive cars than they were in last season, as we are actually live with track action now. All the drivers are trying to leave the pit lane basically at the same time to get as many laps in qualifying as possible. Currently following the FBL boys team with Maria Filberati. I assume this is some sort of Italian name. The 95 Aston Martin. Good to see the 95 number on the side of an Aston Martin, of course. There are no relations on this car to the Dane train, but it is what it is. Don't think we have any Danish drivers in Tier 2 this time around, actually. We might have some other Scandinavians. I'll try and keep an eye out for those guys. This is, by the way, one of the liveries that was created in-game with the just what you could do in-game. This is another one of those with Army. We just jump straight back to the 95. One of the liveries that can be created within the game. That's not a custom livery, as how we like to call custom liveries, but one of the liveries that can be created within the game's own boundaries and how the liveries work within the game. Good to see some different color combinations out there. Of course, we have one of the pink cars set up, and I think that's an Iron Lynx livery car. But yeah, nevertheless, we saw a brief look of a Porsche before. Speaking of pink cars, of course, we cannot avoid Denise Pope when we're talking about the pink cars. After they changed the Wild Things color scheme from the classic sort of black, dark, bluish colors to the pink cars, they've been much more visible on track. And on this McLaren, it just looks so good. It looks good on basically all of the cars that are running it, but I think Denise made a special effort on the McLaren here. It definitely looks stunning with the pink and black combination on these cars. Obviously having some cross fingers for Denise in these races, as she's one of the drivers that I remember racing when I started ACC way back when. Her and I, we have had some coming togethers on track, of course, not all of them equally pretty. Might have killed some championship aspirations from both of us way back when. But she have swapped out of the Porsche from last season into the McLaren this time around in the hopes of challenging for the silver class overall. Oh, sorry, why is it called silver here? This is supposed to be AM? Yeah, Chris is reminding me that 3 classes: silver, AM, and rookie. But did Denise get promotion into silver actually? Or are the white ones the actual silvers? I think the white ones are the actual silvers, and then the AIMs are the gray, and then rookies are red. Yeah, why would we do it the right way around? Of course. Nevertheless, Denise is about to start her first flying lap across the start line. She goes now, and the time is running for her. You can see a lot of blues on track. Of course, blue on the track map means that people are not on a valid lap. White means, or grey means that they are, and white means that they are a slow car moving around. Yellow are of course yellow flags. So not many people still managing to be on a flying lap after, or at least at this point after having gone around the first time. Traffic coming out of the pits for Denise. She might catch a little bit of slipstream coming into to Lake Com here. If she plays it right, she just stays very clear of the other McLaren. Maybe it's the smart move. Look to be hitting that braking. Okay, she didn't take the AstroTurf on the inside. Does take 2 wheels on the left-hand side of the inside curb. Looks to be nice and early on the throttle. Into Brussels, she will go difficult corner, trail braking into Brussels, double apexing. She does that quite beautifully. Now it's all about getting the car turned over to the right-hand side. A little bit of a slide there on the car, but does get a good line through No Name, it looks like. Into Phuong we go. For the first time for the pink McLaren of Denise Pope, the Wild Things Racing Machine, also referred to as the WTR team. Such a good camera position of it, just showing the style of the driving. Very calm and composed. The McLaren are a little bit to the oversteery side. Easy car to catch if it does slide, but it can be a little bit aggressive to drive. Basically, no matter how you set the car up. Personally, I like it a lot, and you can really throw this car into corners if that's your thing, without it hurts your lap time too much. But she's definitely on the run. She will put in a good time early in qualifying. Let's see how far up she jumps. You only have the bus stop corners to navigate at this point. Maybe a little bit too early on the brakes. Does get it nicely tucked into both of the corners and the bus stop, and good rotation it looked like. And across the line she goes now. Jumps up to provisional invalid lap. Wonderful. Wonderful. I didn't see where she would have invalidated that. It could have been in the No Name. She did look a little wide there. Do we even have lap times on the board so far? I'm asking Chris Hill in the background. Yes, we do have lap times on the board following Morphil. We know that there are a lot of people out there in the YouTube channel. At least Patrick Prince was making it very clear that he wants to see Kieran Morphil from the Snag & Sons team driving around the beautiful Mercedes. Personally, one of my favorite cars to drive in the game. Very stable car. You can eat a lot of curbs with it. You can set it up to be super aggressive or super stable. It's a matter of choice in that car. Good speed as well, and the sound. Oh, the sound of the mighty Mercedes, the grunt this car have. Great to hear. The 990, of course, of Patrick Prince. A little bit of a slight look like on the camera, at least from Chris's reaction in the background. I was looking on YouTube chat. So hard to say. He was 0.4 up on his previous lap, coming through step below that. Then Blanchman, now it's bus stop. Let's see how good he can go through and whether or not that he can improve his lap time. Currently set in P17 in the AM class. Still confusing me with the different colors there. He does improve, but doesn't move up the boards. Actually, he moves one step down the board by improving. Not that often we see that. Another car out on a hot lap, Jesse Van Driel. We saw him a lot last season. He had some good races and some horrendous races. But this season, Jesse's out for a big slide there from Jesse. But keeps it under control. Just mentioning that earlier with the McLaren being easy to catch. Into Brussels he goes, or she goes, whatever. Into Brussels, Van Driel goes. And into the wall. And he's off. Onto the grass he went. Maria Filbaratti in the 95. Currently 0.1 up on his previous best time. He's currently set in 6th position. Let's see whether or not he can improve later on in the lap, as he does have traffic ahead of him. That's not on a flying lap. That's the I think it's the 333 car of Haas. That's ahead of him. He might be able to catch some sort of a slipstream on the run up towards Blanchimont, and that's close to him well, but I think keeps it on track. he keeps it on track. He's 0.3 up on his previous best. This could be challenging for provisional pole if he keeps it going. And by the way, Alexis on pole position. Good to see that. I'm not the only Lexus driver this season. Big oversteer moment there through Blanchmont. He's pushing the car everything he can. Into the bus stop he goes. Remember, the Audi ahead is not on a valid lap, so he will not, he cannot hold him up. 0.6 up, 0.5. He's losing a little bit, but all in all, provisional pole. 2:17.4 from Phil Barratti, only by 60 thousandths of a second. He got that, but too close there to the Audi to get another good run in. Luke Wilson in the Lexus. Best placed AM driver at the minute, and P2 on the grid. The Lexus was really good around here. I couldn't manage to get a good qualifying in last week, but in the race I was gaining tons of ground until I wrecked it out. This car is super good around here. It can be a little bit tricky, and you do have to manage the tires in the actual race, but that's not something that Luke Wilson will have to deal with yet. Still got 9 minutes and 40 seconds of qualifying, so basically 10 minutes of qualifying left for Luke Wilson to try and snatch those 60 thousandths of a second away from Phil Barratti, currently at pole position. He's currently 0.2 up on his best lap time so far, and improving. This can be a difficult corner if the car's not set up correctly. It looks like his car is set up nicely for this. Bus stop, very important corner, can lose and gain a lot here depending on how good you take it. Looks early on the turn in there, but he does get a very nice turnaround there. This could be new provisional pole position from the AM driver of Luke Wilson. He does get pole position or provisional with 2:17.062. Good lap there, strong lap from the Lexus driver. Good to see the Japanese manufacturers on the grid as well. I think it's the only Japanese manufactured car that we have here in Tier 2. Fun fact. Also, not that many Astons in total this season, and even fewer Audis. I think there's an equal amount of Audis in SSRI this season as we have to Lexuses, or Lexi, some might say. Anyways, following Peter Brookland with the custom livery, the Audi livery on the McLaren, the DDS Racing team. We saw them quite a bit last season. They had 3 of these Audi-styled McLarens there, and some FedEx stuff later on in Eminem's cars. A lot of good liveries from the DDS teams last season. He is driving a little bit of a train. I think only the car directly behind him is currently also on a flying lap as he goes out, but he is on a valid lap himself, Peter Brookland, so the other drivers are not allowed to overtake unless if Brookland allows them to do so, or at least makes it clear that they are allowed to overtake. Brookland are improving quite a bit, almost half a second up on his previous best lap time. This could throw him up a few positions if he gets it in. Keeps it through the bus stop chicanes. Looks good. The car behind just goes into the pits for unknown reasons. Across the line he goes up to 34th for Peter Brookland. Good to see Brookland getting out there and putting reasonable laps in, I would say, for him. Classic livery. Fabio Di Barros. the number 25 car Swiss driver. Currently 2.5 seconds up on his previous best lap time, though his previous best lap time wasn't that good. Oh, close to invalidating it the lap there. Looks like a custom livery actually on the car. Ooh, big slide there. That cannot be good for the lap time. Maybe the car set up a little bit too aggressive, or he turns that car in with too much angle on the steering wheel. Hard to say. Through the corners we go into Blanchimont. Keeps it nice and tidy there, still up by over a second on his previous best lap, but he will have to... now another lap got put in, so this could put him at least 1 spot up the current standing orders. And Dominic Gies, please return to watching this and don't play the game yourself, goddammit. Across the line he goes, and improved quite a bit there lap time wise, but still over a second up to the next driver on the grid for him. Ian Lacey Racing, Chris Haas comes across the line soon. This could challenge for at least the top 2. Second place he goes, but still about 2.5 tenths behind Luke Wilson in the Lexus. It's good to see the Audis still being used. I think last time we saw competitive Audis in our championships was when Dark Sky Racing was driving them with Sim Spenkeling and Nard Cox way back when. Anyway, Bart Swearing of the Sim Racing Holland, another classic team in the SSRI folder, sort of say. Bart Swearing improving by 0.3 at the minute. This could jump him up quite a few places. But whether or not that he can keep a hold on his lap time or improve maybe a little bit more, we'll have to wait and see. Into the bus stop he goes now, on the brakes, hard on the brakes of course. Getting in takes a little bit too much of that sausage curve. Some sausage curve again there on the second one. Not what most people opt to do, but let's see when as he goes across the line, jumps up to 17th position. Lost quite a bit of time, and as Chris Hill says that it's not Chris Hill himself who's behind it, it's Craig Hill in the 168 BMW. Jesse Van Dryle currently P5, doing a good job so far. 0.3 up, but traffic ahead of him. This could lose him out the opportunity to get the lap in. Be careful, Van Dryle, as he backs out, it looks like, as the other driver does as well. At least he bends it completely. And across the line he goes. He will start another flying lap. He'll have time enough for 2 more attempts on this. Remember, when the qualifying time runs out, the drivers are allowed to finish the lap that they are currently on. Wouter Blitzberg in the 669 car, no team name for him. But I think it's a... I was about to say DDS, but that doesn't look like a DDS car. That could be an in-game livery, not entirely sure. Someone could probably tell us that in the YouTube chat. But it definitely looks stunning nevertheless. Across the line he goes. Now. To start his penultimate lap. Denise is pointing up, but she does have traffic there from a Porsche. Gets very close to the Porsche. That might have lost everything. Contact on the outside. That a bit unfortunate, but Denise was definitely just trying to get that throttle in as soon as possible to try and improve. She still have enough time to leave the pits and get another lap in, but she cannot sit around for too long in the pits. She'll probably just adjust the fuel levels and make sure that she have fresh tires. I am not trying to pronounce that name. Currently in P4 in the beautiful Porsche. Alexandra Bonjour. Alexandra Bonjour. Having a little bit of a slide there. Whether or not that he'll lose time on that, we'll have to wait and see. He was 0.3 up as he runs up towards Blanchimont. That will be the next time he will turn the wheel in a serious matter. Turns there, he have lost a little bit of time that he had gained on himself, but still a chance to improve. Through the bus stop he goes. Start, finish, straight. Does improve up to 3rd. Jesse Van Dryle. 0.7 up. This could be a new provisional pole. This could even be the actual pole lap that we are seeing for Dryle. No, he missed it all. He was 0.7 up, but loses so much in the bus stop chicane on his own provisional best. Very unfortunate there for Jesse Van Dryle, but he still have another attempt of this. If he can keep the car together, it's a full cent lap this time for Jesse Van Dryle. He has nothing to lose and everything to gain. Ian this time around in the 98 car. I do think that's also the number that we see in T1 from Nikolaj Schröder, who he was driving a BMW last season. This might actually be his old BMW that he's in. We'll just say that for the sake of the law. Improves and jumps up to 24th position. Will there be auto adjustments to some drivers that are better than the others in the average class? I don't think they will. Absolutely not. That would be too much of an inconvenience to try and sort out mid-season, unfortunately. So some people might have just been sandbagging too much in their preseason tests. Oscar Artis, the Argentine driver. I was promising Chris to say that he was from Paraguay before this session, but forgot all about that. The Argentine driver of Oscar Artis. We saw him last season as well. This must be quite early in the day for him over there. Hi from Denmark. Hello from Denmark as well. Hello. Denmark. Nevertheless, Axis P33, he will return to garage. He doesn't have fuel to try another lap. Mark D. Munk. Following him around, he's about to finish his final lap up by 0.4 at this point. This could jump him up ahead of Frank Hub if he does well enough. Surprised to see Frank in a BMW this season, to be perfectly honest. Comes in across the line, he goes, takes the shortest possible round, and he jumps up to 29th position. His qualifying will be over. Morphil will be the next driver who's currently improving to cross the start-finish line. Up by 0.2 before the bus stop chicane. 0.5 midway through, but that can adjust quite a bit when you're going through those corners, of course. Morphil improves up into 25th position. He will be probably happy with that lap, I would assume. I don't think that he had many expectations coming into this season, but good to see Steve Parker, one of the practice experts, always ranking very high on the amount of practice laps that he does before races. He will be the second to last driver to finish a flying lap in this qualifying. Only Cohen Geens are behind him, who are on a valid lap at this point. He's up by 0.3 at the minute. Steve Parker is. This could jump him quite a few positions up. Right in the danger zone, Patrick Prince says in the YouTube comments. Well, everyone's in the danger zone, to be honest. Hey, there are two Lexuses. Spooner's also in a Lexus, by the way. Nevertheless, across the bus stop, or through the bus stop corners he goes. Start, finish straight. Will he improve? Yes, P22. P22. Cohen Geens improving by 0.5, half a second improvement at this point. Will he improve across start, finish line? Yes, P17 for Cohen Geens, just behind Denise Pope. And that is it for qualifying. Unfortunately, my broadcasting app, I forgot to get it updated for this race, so I actually can't tell you the results of the qualifying. As of speaking, I don't even have Pitwall on my PC at the minute for unknown reasons. But nevertheless, great qualifying we saw this time out. Very exciting to see drivers improving so late in the race, of course, or late in the qualifying. Lexus both the Lexus quite high up in the field, and one further down. We'll see how they will do later on. Steve left him, yes. Well, how it is, Patrick. That's just how it is. But while we are waiting for the main race, the drivers are I could actually see the qualifying results. I'm on the damn server. I could just go in there and see the results. I am a freaking genius. So let me run you down through the qualifying as it. Whoop, I apparently can't just do that. Oh, I can do it like this. Yes, okay. Let me run you down through qualifying standings. P1 will be Luke Wilson in the number 3 Lexus. P2, Jesse Van Dryle having a stunning, amazingly good qualifying. Both these drivers are, by the way, in the AM category. So 2 AMs taking the front row of the grid. Jesse Van Dryle second in the 27 McLaren. Haas in P3, first of the silver drivers in the 333 Audi. Alexander Bonjour in the 219 Porsche behind him. Phil Barretti in P5, 95 Aston Martin. He'll line up in. We saw him quite a bit in qualifying, as he was probably didn't have the best of final sectors on his best lap, as he kept looking like he was improving, but screwed it up in the bus stop several times. Wolf lines up in 6th next to him in the number 300 Mercedes AMG. Hummel and Schenk takes a 7th and 8th position in the 82 Lambo and the 19 Porsche. Garcia and Finneman behind them in 9th and 10th in the number 7 Ferrari and 99 Aston Martin. Good amount of Aston Martins before we see 2 Lamborghinis in 11th and 12th. Half and Kleefeld in the 86 and 115 Lamborghinis. Curtis and Blitzme lining up behind them in the 90 Porsche, in the 669, or the 6 nice, I should say, McLaren. Michael De Gore and Denise Pope in 15th and 16th. The 109 and the 79. The 79, of course, being the stable number of Denise Pope. Seen that quite a bit. The same goes for Cohen Geens, who lines up behind her in the 711 McLaren. Bart Swearing in the 112 Ferrari and P18. P19, Craig Hill in the 168 BMW. Draper behind him in 20th position in the 63 McLaren. Johan Planas and Scooten in a Mercedes row behind them. The 81 and 91 Mercedeses. Steve Parker and Iron van der Linden in 23rd and 24th. The 44 McLaren and the 14 Ferrari. Iron van der Linden, known for that 14 Ferrari, always seems to be driving the 14 Ferrari. Martinelli and Kieran Morfield lines up behind them in 25th and 26th. 98 BMW and the 990 Snag & Sons AMG Mercedes. A lot of people in the YouTube chat wants to know a lot more about him, of course. And now I totally lost the drift of where I was. I was just finishing off with Morfield there. So it's Frans van der Linden in the 65 McLaren behind him, and Frank Hopp having not the grace of qualifying, but seeing him in a BMW is also a bit surprising, as he's one of the drivers who will normally choose the lesser chosen cars. In the 217 BMW, Galland and DeMonk lines up behind them in the 454 McLaren and the number 5 BMW. Peter Brookland and Ritter Bush takes in 31st and 32nd in the 971 McLaren and the 96 Porsche. Oscar Arctis, the Argentine driver, in 33rd in the 33rd position, and the 133 McLaren. Oh, sorry, Mercedes, of course, he's driving the Mercedes. Wow, why am I even considering that? Blitzers in the 113 Lamborghini. Unlucky for some, but the one ahead, so it might not be that unlucky. Wounter wins and Wüstmans. I'll say it's Wüstmans lines up in 35th and 36th position in the 213. Again, maybe unlucky number for some, not as unlucky as the 113, of course. McLaren and the 1111 Aston Martin. Spooner in the second, Lexus on the grid, the 35 in 37th position. Higusenga in the 188. McLaren in 38th position. DeBarros 39th in the 25 Aston Martin. Ferraris in the 17 McLaren in 40th position. Back row of the grid. Van Dosberg in the 613, maybe also slightly unlucky number. Porsche, and then Gottman in the 22 Aston Martin. As the drivers have just started the formation lap, or at least they're rolling onto it as we are speaking. This is the time to get the tires and the brakes warmed up. Trying to get them warmed up correctly can be a little bit difficult, of course. Now I can just have a time to look on the YouTube chat if anything interesting have happened. There's space for like 10 more cars. Yeah, well, we know. I have heard about this new upcoming underdog, FD Boris. Keep an eye on him. We will sure try and keep an eye on him as we go along. Though from quite far back the grid, maybe he can do something in the race and get that car up into good point scoring positions. But Luke Wilson in the Lexus on pole position. always good to see Alexis. Beautiful, beautiful machine. What a car. What a car. But he will probably be hoping that something will happen behind him so he can get away as clean as, or get away, he'll get away clean, or as clean as possible, and the other drivers can have some coming togethers maybe and give him a lot of room so he can just run away with it. But he'll be under pressure from Jesse van Dryle in P2. A little bit interesting to see that the even though it does say, I know it says silver in the underneath in the classes, but that's because we can't put people in a rookie class. But this is the AM class, the ones that are usually silver, and then the white ones will be the actual silvers, and the red ones will be rookies. I do believe that's how it goes. I'm betting my entire salaries on FD Boris to finish top 3. Well, top 3 in the rookie class, maybe. Can't remember exactly which class that Boris are running. I'll just have a scroll down to figure out. He's in the rookie class, and he is actually 1, 2, 3, 4. He's actually starting 5th in the rookie class, so top 3 in class for him could definitely be on the cards. We will try and follow along with everyone around there for positions, of course. We are getting, I was about to say we're getting close to the point where the drivers need to have their tire temps and brake temps sorted. Not too long until we start seeing them go double file. As Wilson is definitely trying the best he can to get those brakes into temperature. Remember that when the brakes heat, the tires will heat up as well. So that might be the trick for him this time around, and get everything into temp. Interesting to see how many drivers will use the trick of driving with a foot on the throttle and brake when they are going double file, to keep as much heat in the brakes as possible before running into the first braking zone. Remember, it is a long way from when these cars start until the first actual hard braking zone. Although the further down the field you get, the harder you have to brake into a rouge because of the traffic there. Normally it's a flat out corner, but lap 1 in heavy traffic, very unlikely if you start further down than 6th that you can get through there without having to at least lift or even brake. Through the bus stop we go. Remember, the start of the race is not on the GP start-finish straight. It's on the endurance start. So one more corner they'll have to round before we get the green flag command. And before we get to hear the magic words of racing for the first time this season, as we are getting very close to getting the 6th season of the SSRI GT3 Championship on the way for the Tier 2 drivers. Like and subscribe for that. Oh well, just enjoy the race, you can do that. But ladies and gentlemen, we are on the start line now. And only one thing to say, and that is, of course, we are momentarily about to go racing! Drive-through penalty for Hummel for being out of position in the starting formation there. Luke Wilson gets away with the start, but it does look like that Van Dryle have a chance of a run into the Laguna chicanes. They go very close, almost bomb drafting. No yellows through Rouge first time around. Jesse Van Dryle is so close that he will try the outside move on Luke Wilson. These two drivers have gotten away somewhat from the rest of the pack, though the outside is not usually the place you want to be through the Laguna chicane if you want to get that move done. Luke Wilson gets away cleanly in P1. P2 is still Jesse Van Dryle, Haas P3. Bonjour have moved up into a 4th position. Phil Baratti loses out a little bit, dropping into 5th in that 95 Aston Martin. Something have happened in the Laguna chicane. We can see the number 7 car now dropping to the back. That's Garcia. I think he went straight on there through the chicane. There must have been some sort of thing happening ahead of him. Luke Wilson goes wide through Puong. This gives Van Dryle the opportunity on the outside into the corners that I keep forgetting the name of. He does have the outside line. Can he keep it on the outside? Looks like that he will have it done. Outside becomes inside for the next corner, and Jesse Van Dryle moves into the lead of the race after less than a lap of racing. Luke Wilson concedes, drops into second position. He will try to get the run through Stavelo up towards Blanchimont and into the bus stop chicane to try and get the move done, but this is a difficult one. Even if you have the run leading into Blanchimont, do you take the chance and go for the move and bet on the other driver slowing down for you? No, you normally wouldn't. You will try and time it so you get the run into the bus stop chicane. He does have a little bit of overspeed, Luke Wilson, but is it enough to get the move done on Jesse Van Dryle? No, it's not this time around, but Van Dryle goes wide, misses the braking, and now it's Haas that comes up challenging for P1. Big, almost 4 wide across the start-finish for the start or finish line for the first time. Van Dryle still leading. It is Haas, Bonjour, and Wilson there, 3-4 wide. Through the source, it's still Van Dryle leading, but still side by side from Wilson and Bonjour. What will happen now? Car 22, of course, issues, and the 9-something as well. Van Dryle still leading. Who will concede? Luke Wilson drops out of the side by side through. Haas goes very wide then, ready on, and Luke Wilson goes ahead. How many positions will Haas lose on this? He loses at least 2 more to Phil Baratti and what's that? That's who is the other driver? Is that Wolf? It's at least Phil Baratti and no, that's Bonjour, the other driver. Wolf is further back. Hummel goes in to serve the drive-through early. Such a tough one to get here on Spa. It is the longest pit lane on ACC, so huge time loss for Hummel. Van Dryle seems to have gotten away from this, from at least the lead pack at the minute, as the rest of them are scrubbling. Todd Curtis have spun the car around. American driver in the American Army livery. Ooh, someone spins it going into the yellow zone. A lot of people ignoring the yellow. That's the DDS Audi McLaren there as well. That is not good to see. Don't reverse onto track, please don't. Oh, he goes off there. That's Ritter Bush. Waits very nicely there for everyone to go by him. Someone stopped on the Camel Straight as well. That's Van Dosbergen. He goes into the pits. RTGs, I think that's the first retirement of the race. Unfortunate from Van Dosbergen. Van Dryle still leads the race with Luke Wilson behind him giving chase, but Luke Wilson might be looking more in the rear view mirror at the minute than he is looking at Van Dryle. It was so slightly corner by corner, getting away from him up the front of this. This time Luke Wilson misses the braking into the bus stop. This time this could put him under pressure. The Porsche of Bogaris, Bonjour, whatever, did seem to try the run. Looks for the inside but stays on the outside through La Source. But goes too wide there. He loses the position to the 95 car of Phil Baratti in the Aston Martin. Somewhat side by side. I feel like Bonjour will have to give this one up coming into Rouge. He does do so very nicely done from him. He does cut the corner quite a bit there. This could give Haas an opportunity in the toe to get into this one. Doesn't look like that he'll have enough speed for that. Unfortunately, further down the field there's also some side by side coming into to Lake Com. It looks like that's Finmans in the Gressels Motorsports car who overtook Dimitri Schenk. That Dimitri actually having a somewhat decent race. It's Michael de Gore behind who is trying everything he can to defend his position. It looks like from Half, who is behind him. One of the standard liveries in the game, real life livery on the on Michael de Gore race 109 car. It's the Garage 59 livery that he have chosen to run. But all this battling, this could just mean that they're wearing out the tires. Whether or not that the drivers take tires in the pit stops, we'll have to wait and see. We did see in the Tier 1 race that not taking tires was the call to do there, and seemed to be the winning strat, or at least the strat that gained the most positions. But whether or not that we'll see the same here in the Tier 2, we'll have to wait and see. Kieran Morfield further down the field in the Snag & Sons car, custom livery, of course. That car have taken some damage on the front, it looks like. Must have been involved in some of the touching and scrapping, going about in the first couple of laps. He might consider jumping in as soon as he knows he can go to the end, getting that damage sorted, not to lose too much, if he wishes to get the damage sorted, of course. Great experienced driver, Morfield, but Wayman's behind him. Could be closing the gap if that damage takes out some of the aerodynamic properties of the car. Jumping up to the front battle once again. Everything is still extremely tight up here. With Bonjour third in class, but fourth overall in the race. It's fun to see that the leading silver class car is in P3 at the minute. This might be the season of the AIMS. Into Rouge 1, small we go. A lot of cars taking a lot of curb, but going over the inside there. There must have been some track cuts, it looks like, there for some of the drivers in this lead pack. The rules on the track cuts are that you get your 3 track cuts, and then the 4th time you get the track cut, you're out of warnings and you'll get a drive-through penalty. Someone bent it through Blanchimont, it looks like, on the track map. But look at that, all of the cars in one long line almost around this track. Very competitive driving. It does seem like that this front group have settled a little bit into position at this point of the race. They're not as close as they were just a minute ago. Though I can see that in P22 the best placed rookie driver have come into the scoreboard on the left hand side of the screen. Here's a replay of what happened to Morfield. There's a Mercedes into the bus stop, tries the inside line as the car, or just goes too late on the brakes, takes out the 63 there. Very unfortunate mistake. That can be so hard to judge the braking into that corner, especially if you are on the inside line and in close traffic. That's a tough one to swallow for Morfield, and his pride will definitely have taken a little bit of a notch there, as he is usually one of the more clean drivers around. But mistakes can happen to anyone. Is that a lap car? Looks like there's a lap car involved in the top end here. Getting the blue flags and moving out. Here's what happened to Wolf. Big gaggle of cars into Rouge. We go. Oh dearie me. Oh, big slide in the Mercedes, then spins it around, 360s it and gets going. Very nice 360. No, very dangerous to be so slow through at that part of the track, of course, but manages to keep the car clean. Big brown trousers moments as Cohen Geens are causing a yellow flag in La Source at the minute. It's not always good to be a household name, then we know your car number, and when you're stopped somewhere on the track, we will call you out on it. Here we have Geens in the FedEx DDS livery. Must have lost quite a bit, currently in 18th position, was 16 when he crossed the start-finish line. Across we go, and he's scored now on 18th. It's Frank Hopp who's behind him at this point. Frank will definitely be looking for a position, as he might be getting slightly closer as time progresses. Up with Haas once again. The battling is still quite tight up here. Haas in the Audi, of course. It can be a very twitchy car to drive. Trying to apply some pressure on Bourgeois or Bonjour or whatever the name actually was of that guy in the 219 Team Porsche ahead of him. Though he might actually just be settling in behind, as he knows that the next driver in his class are the driver behind, and he's probably not interested in doing a full send, trying to get another position as he is currently leading his class. Phil Baracci further down the field, who have dropped out of the contention of the top positions. Applying the pressure on De Gore, gets a massive run on De Gore. Can he get the move done through Blanchimont? He does. Yeah, he has it done before, but they'll both have to live going through there. Filbarati goes wide. Will Digore have an answer coming into the bus stop? No, it doesn't look like it. Position for Filbarati as he have moved up ahead of Michael Digore, who drops into 8th position, and Filbarati up into 7th at this point. Up the race, Craig Hill further down the field. Someone jumps into the pits behind him. That was Wolf. He must have had some amazingly big flat spots on those tires after that 360 through Rouge. Or through Radion, actually. Swearing, applying pressure, or getting pressured, I should rather say, by Blitzme further down, or further up the field from where we just were. For 12th position, it's Swearing and Blitzme, two of the household names here in the second tier. We've seen them for quite a few seasons. Let's see what they can do. These drivers will know each other very well. Swearing goes defensive into to Laguna as Blitzme just backs out that one a little bit, not fancying the outside move through there, and not far enough ahead that he believed that he could make it stick. A little bit of a wobble there from Swearing, exiting the Laguna complex. Slightly different lines through Brussels. Ooh, 4 cars up ahead going NASCAR formation through the corners. That's Dimitri Schenk, Denise Pope, I think Michael DeGauray and Half that just swapped positions there. They swapped them quite a bit around as Denise Pope is still in the side-by-side with Half, who was the big loser of that that slight four-way battle. Drops from 9th to 11th, does Half. Denise Pope gets moved on and finds herself in the top 10 now. Good progression in the race from Denise. Doing a good job in that McLaren. It is some say it's a better race car than quali car. I'm not quite sure on that, but we'll have to wait and see. We have a murder chart in the Snag and Sons Discord. Unfortunately, that's a +1 for Kieran. Yeah, if you have a murder chart in your team Discord, that would be probably a +1 for Kieran, and that matter. Denise goes defensive into the bus stop. This will compromise her exit of these corners. This could give Half a Half. Though he doesn't take a full advantage of it. Does Michael Half? No. Frulasor still applying the pressure on Denise. Does Half. Gets very close now. It's all about chugging into the slipstream. The difficulty about being in the slipstream here are that you will normally have to lift through Rouge and Radion to avoid the track cuts and keeping the car on the track. But you will usually also get a good run into to Laguna as Gottman, the other Swiss driver, Lars Gottman, have been around out of the no-name corner. And that drops him to 39th at the minute. Frans van der Linden in this quite tensive long train battle, whatever we should call it at this point. The other Sim Racing Holland driver using all of the track and a little bit extra, and trying to get up there. Remember that Spooner and Rita Bush, who are just ahead in this skaggle somewhere, they are battling for 3rd in the rookie class at the minute. Big Sind on the outside further up, and that looks like a DDS that might be Parker or Brooklyn. I think it's Brooklyn on in the yellow car. Yes, it is. As he will now lose a position to Parker. It looks like though NASCAR formation again. Double too wide. And yeah, Brooklyn loses that one. Loses another one there to the Porsche of Ritterbusch. As the Sim Racing Holland car applies the pressure now, but does get a little bit of a scrubby exit there of no name. Brooklyn will have to find something now to try and get ahead of the Porsche as he just gets overtaken on the inside. They're flying up the inside goes Frans van der Linden, it looked like. Who's now behind? That's the Lamborghini. That must be Blisters who's behind Brooklyn now at this point. Oh, is it a back marker? Maybe it's a little bit hard to say. Unless Chris gives us a better view on who it is. But no, but Brooklyn seems to be struggling a little bit out of Stavelo there, and gets overtaken by Patrick Blitzers, who was for position in the 113. Unlucky for some, but not Patrick, of course, as he moves up into 29th position. He might have hoped for a little bit more, being classed in the silver category, of course. But that's the thing, once we go racing, it is really difficult to know exactly where you are going to be and where you're ending up. The big train is still going on. Just over 15 minutes into this race. Actually 17 minutes into the race, so still a long time to go for these drivers. They might be start thinking about their strategy at the minute. Back up to the front battle, Chris Haas for P3 on Bonjour, who's directly ahead of him in the pause. These two are still very close at this point. Haas does seem to be quite a bit closer to Alexander Bonjour than he was last time we saw these two drivers duking it out. But whether or not that he will actually gain anything out of it, but he is being held up a little bit by Bogaris, it looks like, as Kleefeld is getting closer and closer to Haas for the top spots. Ooh, the race leader is causing a yellow flag. Van Drijl have been off alongside with a back marker, it looked like. But Jesse Van Drijl have been involved in something. I think Chris is working everything he can to find a replay. That is Van Drijl we're seeing there, which means that this is now battle for P2 overall, although Haas does have to lift off there and gets stuck behind Van Drijl. As Kleefeld comes up the outside into the bus stop, as Haas goes late on the brakes, hits Jesse Van Drijl. And now both Haas and Kleefeld have to go around the outside, take the escape route back onto the track. Kleefeld causing a little bit of grief there for the next cars coming up. That was Freeman and Phil Baratti. Haas is doing the honorable thing there and letting Van Drijl go back ahead of him. Good sportsmanship from Chris Haas, but this definitely put a spanner in Haas's work in this race, as Van Drijl is being overtaken by Dimitri Schenk almost out of La Source. Dimitri Schenk in the Porsche, of course, applying a ton of pressure behind Van Drijl at the minute. But this means that Luke Wilson have reclaimed first in the race in his Lexus. But this just shows that incidents can happen to any driver in the field. Bonjour in a very clear second at the minute. Big gap behind him after the incident we saw. But Phil Baratti under pressure from Finneman behind him for third overall in this race. This also means that Phil Baratti is now leading the silver class after the coming together there. Van Drijl and Haas, where Kleefeld also had to take evasive action. Someone bent it at a Rouge as well already on, actually, it looks like. There's a car trying to take evasive action, also bent it at. That's the 113, it looks like. That's been involved something. There are a lot of yellows and whites up there at the minute. But they are back moving again, it looks like. Let's see what happened to Jesse Van Drijl. Maybe he did a solo spin as there are no back markers ahead of him at the minute, though. There's some grass being kicked up there. Ooh, there's a car spinning wildly out of control that just taps the back of Van Drijl. Very unfortunate there for Jesse Van Drijl, who was on pace for such a top result. Heartbreak moment for Jesse Van Drijl there. One of the drivers that I'm rooting for personally, as he's one of those guys who either have a stunningly good race or an awful race and finishes way back. But that was very unfortunate for Van Drijl, and that will hurt his chances for the win in this race. As Chris Hill is obviously working out to find some replays of what in the ass was going on there in the Rouge just a few moments ago. As we are watching Phil Baratti finish another lap of the race, currently on the overall podium and leading the class. Chris Haas under pressure from Michael de Gore now. It looks now that's Chris Haas putting the pressure on Jesse Van Drijl. Sorry about that. Chris Haas trying to get back past or get past Jesse Van Drijl that he had the small coming together with in the bus stop chicane. Let's see whether or not that I'm being asked whether or not that I have an idea of what cars was more. I think the 113 was one of them, and maybe the 44, or at least something that ended in a 4. But I think 113 might have been involved in it at least. Chris Haas still trying it, but that Audi just doesn't seem to be quick enough for a lot of things at the minute. And my YouTube chat is bugging out a little bit as I can't see the bottom message for some reason. I can't scroll down to it. I think my YouTube chat is just bugging it. Let me just try and restart my YouTube chat. Oh, it's actually a lot of messages that I have missed on YouTube. Nevertheless, no, just ouch. Oh no, I thought there was one more. No, that's it. I'm being told that's it. That was unfortunately it, or fortunately enough. Any questions or comments on the race, please leave it in the YouTube chats and we'll try and respond to it as soon as we see it, of course. I have myself doing the best on that, and then Chris Hill, who's trying to remind me when something happens in the YouTube chat and in the race, doing a good job behind the scenes, controlling the cameras and lurking in the back of this small commentary shed that we have set up in multiple countries for unknown reasons. Well, obviously known reasons, as it would be quite a lot to ask Chris to travel to freaking Denmark to do the cameras, of course. Anyways, back to the racing action. I thought there was white there from the race leader, but I don't think that was actually the thing on the track map. A few cars just ahead here of Van Drijl. That's Kleefeld and the 59 car that's duking it out just outside of camera's reach at the minute. But Haas getting close there to Van Drijl. He does seem to be quite good under braking in that Audi. Van Drijl does get a decent exit out of the La Source corner, but Chris Haas is actually in a position now where he could probably try and set it up into the Lacombe corners if he gets a good run through Erosion Radion. But unfortunately for him, Van Drijl also gets slipstream at this point from Kleefeld ahead of him. Down the big run, no one's close enough to go for it at this point. But little bit of a mistake there from Kleefeld that could put him under severe pressure from Van Drijl. Van Drijl goes to the inside, does get the move done, still side by side onto into Brussels we go. Van Drijl on the inside line, but can Haas sneak it through as well? Looks like that Haas will also get the position on Kleefeld there. Very, very small mistake from Kleefeld, costing him 2 positions at this moment. Van Drijl loses the car, Van Drijl loses the car, goes into the wall out of no name. Once again, Van Drijl in even further issues with the car that could have been due to the damage that he already got earlier in the race, that he might have lost it due to lack of grip. His race goes from bad to worse. At this point, Van Drijl will probably be looking to take a pit stop soon to get some of that damage fixed. And probably a fresh set of tires, or as they say in America, a sleeker set of tires. But this leaves Kleefeld on the run. He was ahead of Haas earlier, as we get a replay of all the things that happened in Rouge. At least one of the things that happened in Rouge. A lot of things that reduces the Mercedes. We have seen that quite a bit, and there's the other car that's turning around, and another car further up the screen that was just plowing through the grass, and then cars come flying through, just missing out on the contact there. Whoa, that must have been a brown trousers moment. We saw a few of those last week as well. When people were stuck there, Chris is reminding me that I caused one, and I was just the fist of karma in that situation. Van Drijl does go into the pits to get some of that damage fixed, which means that Denise Pope will go further up the field. Not to put too much effort on her, but not. And here's what happened to the car that spun in front. But we don't have any top Wild Things Racing cars this season, so we have to make the best. Whoa! That seemed a bit strange, and then that's what happened to the grass. That was the car that was plowing through the grass, and then the Mercedes just spins it for a good measure behind. Maybe he sees it on the track map and just tries to slow down for it and then losing it due to the change of throttle inputs and grip levels that will change with that. Cleveland still going strong, but have lost contact with Haas at this point. I'm just trying to look down the field as Denise Pope is catching up to Michael de Gore and could potentially challenge for that'll be 4th in the amateur class. Not that common that challenging for 4th in amateur class will be 7th overall in a race, but we did see that a few times last season as well. And Denise this time around a much stronger car than she was last season, at least according to most people. Not everyone will agree to that, but quite a few will say that the Wild Things McLaren are stronger than the Wild Things Porsche. She is definitely trying it, and now we're getting a ton of pings for unknown reasons. But she is definitely pushing it to catch up to de Gore, and she will be delighted if she can get that move done. I was just having a little bit of a thought here, Mr. Chris Hill. Maybe we could see some of the rookie drivers. We haven't seen too much of those in the race, but maybe that's because they're not that close on track. But we could probably have a little bit of a sneaky view on some of those drivers just to get them some screen time at some point. I've just been asked to pick a car now. Basically anyone who have the red box next to them, just a rookie driver. My big de Boris, of course, we have had some questions for him in the chat at points during the race. Big damage on the car. It looks like he must have been involved in something. The number 25 car of de Boris, second to last of the drivers who haven't pitted yet. Only Gottman behind him of drivers who haven't pitted, as the 188 is currently in the pits. Being asked no pit wall, I'm not entirely sure whether or not that we have pit wall running for this event, as there's dirt being kicked out ahead of de Boris. No, nothing too serious. It looks like for that for de Boris, he's still going strong. He might also be looking for a pit stop soon to try and get some damage. Pit wall is up now. I'm being told in the back of my my head or my ears. Slight whisper, some might even say. 45 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the race. And still, yeah, the Fabio de Boris are running in quite a lonely place at the minute. Good amount of seconds down, it's about 6 seconds down to Wolf, who already served his pit stop early and who will probably make short works of de Boris when he catches up at 18 seconds up to Ferraris ahead of him. But you know, this is sort of like a race of nutrition. Some might say you just have to stay in the race. You never know what happens later on. Anything could happen to anyone. Though rain does seem to be quite unlikely in this race, as we can see in the background there, the black Mercedes of Wolf just lurking like wolves do. Though no pack hunting for him this time around, unfortunately. Do you actually think there's a battle between Harf and Van Dryle further down, of two drivers who have pitted, who could be coming into maybe not contention for top positions, but they'll try something out? Denise Popes goes into the pits at this point. She might be taking tires if she comes in now, or just have underfueled the car. Maybe just trying to get some clean air, as we have seen her being a master of strategy last season at Coach. At least she did quite a good job there. Further down the field, these two drivers have pitted. This is Jesse Van Dryle, former leader in the race, and Michael Huff, battling for 30th on track. But do remember they have pitted, and a lot of drivers ahead of them haven't taken their stops yet, though they are quite far behind those drivers who pitted that didn't have to repair major damage. But Michael Huff will be trying to close it on Van Dryle. to try and get that overtake done. Van Dijk might be a little bit spooked at the minute of the car due to the crashes that he have had. So that could be the thing. Van Dijk still holds the fastest lap in the race. I know that because the number on the left of Van Dijk are enclosed in purple, which means fastest lap of the race wins, comes into the pits as well. Yellow flags on Blanchimont, but the car is moving once again, so this will not be an issue for these drivers, who are currently actually lapped by race leader, who's just a little bit further up the road from these drivers. That's still Luke Wilson in the Lexus leading away here on Spa-Francorchamps for the first round of the 6th season of the SSRI GT3 Tier 2 Championship. Wilson with a almost 6-second gap down to Bonjour in second in the 219 Porsche. Looking on him now. He's a little bit under pressure from Phil Baratti, who's getting closer and closer every time we see these guys. Yellow flag at the end of Rouge. I wonder if that car will cause any grief for these drivers. And that's Oscar Arctis, the man who's up early. Round to wins, gets a stop go 30 for speeding in the pits. Oscar Arctis gets going. Not causing any issues for anyone, it looks like. Whoa, now we have the cars behind. That's Bonjour and Phil Baratti. Phil Baratti also sneaking through into Laguna, but does have to take alternate lines, which will lose him quite a bit of time there to Bonjour in the French liveried Porsche. Of course, he chooses a French livery style for that car. Craig Hill goes into the pits as well. It is a little bit early if you want to do the half and half strategy, but we have seen the undercut being super strong in the Tier 2 races last season, and that might be some of the thought behind what these drivers are doing at the minute. Chris Hill is trying to be funny in the background. Or at least doing kind of a job trying to. I lost my drift. On board with Phil Baratti, that was not a car for position that he was looking back on. On board with Phil Baratti from the inside of the car, we can see how he's jiggling the steering wheel as he's driving. Quite a lot of jiggling. That might be just due to the force feedback that he gets back through it. That's why we see the jiggling and not a straight movement on the wheel. Nice and calm. Into the braking zone he goes. It looks very controlled and composed on board with Phil Baratti. Though it will be interesting to see if he can catch back up to Bonjour, or whether or not that he'll try some fancy stuff in the pits. Just about 2.5 minutes away from the halfway point of the race, and halfway point of the first race of this season. Through Rouge and Radion he goes. Still nice and easy. Still no crazy inputs or anything. Calm and controlled driving in the Aston Martin, of course. Yellow flags on the exit of Laguna. Let's try and stay on board and see what it looks like trying to avoid a slow moving car from the on-board point of view. The white flags are shown. He's just parked on the outside there. No big deal for these guys. Trying the double apex, it looks like, from Phil Baratti. Could you show the replay of the 300 taken out? Did the 300 get taken out? If you can tell us when it happened, then we surely can. We know that the 300 had the the great 360 early in the race, and that's part of the reason why he's so far back in the field. He did go into the pits quite quickly after that, if that's what you are referring to in the chats. Filbaracci still on the move, but not really gaining at this point on Bonjour ahead of him. He is definitely pushing a big pit stop round at the minute. Quite a few cars are into the pits. It looks like just before Blanchimont, lap 13. Not sure if our camera replays goes that far back. As Filbaracci goes into the pits, he'll try and undercut Bonjour. On the pit speed limiter it goes. The 613 steering wheel disconnected. That's Van Dosbergen. We called him Evo last season. I think it's pronounced Evo. He did tell me how to pronounce his first name because he got tired of me mispronouncing it, but Van Dosberg had a disconnect with the steering wheel as we see Filbaracci come cruising down pit road. He will be hoping that he can hit his pit markers better than Bonjour, and he can jump him that way. Here's the replay of the 300 crash. Oh, that just seems to be some unfortunate argy-bargy. Going up that straight. It seemed like they were both equally at fault for that one. Anyways, back to Filbaracci, who's going into his pit box now. Let's try and see if we can find someone who's actually on racing speed out on track, and have a look at Luke Wilson leading the race. Having had quite an interesting starting couple of laps to the race, but then it all settled down quite a bit after Van Drijl had his had the issue with the spinning car ahead of him, and Luke Wilson just inherited the lead after that. I tell you what, Gallant, who's leading the rookie class, currently up into 8th position, though he still has a pit stop to take. But quite the achievement of him being up there. David Gallant, we are following here, Canadian driver. We have seen quite a few Americans, North and South Americans, coming into to race with us as of late for really unknown reasons. If anyone knows why we have so many North and South Americans in general joining us, then please let us know. But Gallant in the Sky Tempesta racing car, doing quite a good job just keeping it going nice and tight, slow and steady, wins the race. He was leading the rookie class before the pit stop round, and he will likely still lead it after the pit stop round as he continues to go. Bonjour goes into the pits to cover off. Who was it he was trying to cover off? I already forgot. Filbaracci, of course, it was Filbaracci he tried to call. Filbaracci is currently leading the drivers who have been into the pits. Interesting to see if anyone will go long and go for the splash and dash strategy of only taking fuel in the pit stops. If you do that, you need to be very careful on the tires for the entirety of the race. Thanks. Onboard Simsport. Yeah, it only always seems quite different when you go on board with cars. I can understand why that would have seemed like that from those angles. Anyways, now it's interesting to see where Bonjour comes out in terms of the distance to Filbaracci. I think we'll just stay on Filbaracci and see the gap when they go through, go into Laguna for the first time after the pit stops. Remember that Filbaracci's tires will be all the way up into temperature as if they will go close to each other, when Bonjour's will be slightly colder. Even though that there are tire warmers, they will not be completely into temps yet, and they will not be up to pressure either, as we have the split screen cam now in the bottom right hand corner of Bonjour's car in the pit lane, still not moving at this point. Though it will be quite shortly, I would assume. Now it's moving. This could end up being maybe tied into to Laguna. We'll have to wait and see. as Phil Baratti is quite far down the straight as Bonjour starts driving up through the pit exit. During soundtrack, Phil Baratti can smell him at this point. Not close enough to go for the overtake into to Laguna, but he is closing at a rapid pace. Roughly the same distance as before the pit stops. But remember, Phil Baratti's tires are up into temperature and pressure at this point. He could be trying an early move, trying to get something done. Looks like they're quite a bit close at this point. Bonjour's going slightly tighter line through Brussels, it looked like. I tell you what, Pope is actually fourth of the drivers who have pitted, though we still need some of the top drivers in. Kleefeld comes in this time around. Phil Baratti not close enough to make any decisive moves. At this point, it looks like that Craig Hill is actually quite close to Finnerman further down the field as well. Trying to have a look here with Craig Hill in the green and white and somewhat a grey BMW. Quite decent livery he's got together there. Backmarker Motorsport, you might want to change the name of that as you are in the top half of the race, mate. Applying pressure to Finnerman. Finnerman was quite far up before the pit stops, I do seem to remember him being way further ahead. He must have had some sort of issues in the pits or just damage repairs. As Craig Hill actually gets a good run on gets a good run out of Stabilo and Paul Frere there. Could be closing some of the gap up to Finnerman through these sequence of corners, but difficult call on Blanchimont when you are in the slipstream of another car. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have the battle between Bonjour and Phil Baratti. Top left, it's Craig Hill and Finnerman. As they just passed the back marker. Was that Dimitri Schenk's car? No, that was the... yeah, I think it was Dimitri Schenk's car. Could have been the... oh, it's definitely Dimitri Schenk's car. The American driver also have a somewhat similar livery, though is slightly more direct green. As it looks like we could see the move between Phil Baratti and Bonjour into Laguna. Double moving there on the straight from Bonjour. That's a little bit of a no-no, but we'll have to wait and see what comes out of that one. Phil Baratti will definitely not be too happy about it. Tried to look for the inside, but no gaps was open there. I think the Finnerman have pulled away from Craig Hill at this point. No, Phil Baratti will be on it. I actually think he overtook Denise Pope as well, Finnerman did. But anyway, so Phil Baratti still on the tail of Bonjour's. Through Pouon we goes. As a back marker, that's the 59 car up ahead there that just pulls over to the side, doing a good job of that, letting these guys go through. And keeping their battle on the same gaps as before they had to pass him. He is getting really up there at this point. Will he have the move up towards Blanchimont and bust up Phil Baratti? He is in the slipstream range. As long as he doesn't get slingshotted before Blanchimont, he does have the chance. Now he's coming down. The gap is coming down. Maybe it's a little bit too far back to try for the launch, but they will be very close into the bus stop. As Phil Baratti might just try and set it up for another move into the Laguna chicane. A reasonable gap here. You have to get early on the throttle through La Source and stay as close as possible to Bonjour. Maybe just that 1 or 2 car lengths behind as they go through Rouge, so he can take maximum advantage of a slingshot. Does have a good position for it here. If you have just a little bit of a speed advantage, then it's perfect positioning. But it looks like that the Porsche is so quick through Rouge and Radion. not enough this time around for Fibonacci. Of course, still long straight, but not enough for the launch. He will be very disappointed that he haven't gotten that move done yet. But gets very close there through Lake Combe. Actually does Fibonacci. He could be trying to set it up here on the little bit more technical part of the track if he can stay close enough to force an error from Bonjour's. Through No Name we go. Fibonacci using all of the available track. You can stay as long as you stay with 2 wheels on the curbs through No Name. It's very clean. Also looks like that Fibonacci is able to take a slightly more curve than the Porsche of Bonjour's, which is somewhat interesting to see, as we actually don't have the hot up on the stream at the minute. But I think that is coming rather soon. More traffic for these 2 drivers, as the traffic is doing everything it can just to stay out of the way. Doing such a good job on that. Really good driving from the lap cars so far this race. I think it's very safe to say at this point that the top 5, they're going for the splash and dash strategy. This could cement Wilson's lead in the race, but it could promote both Francorchamps, Swearing, Blitzma, Frans van der Linden. They're quite far up the field as getting closer into the bus stop. Better line snap from Fibonacci. Can he get something done into La Source maybe? No, not quite close enough, unless if he goes for the ultimate inside line. Then it could be done, though it doesn't look like it. He does come with a little bit of set forces, Bonjour's wide there, and gets the move done. A little bit of contact there on the exit of La Source. Nothing but argy-bargy, of course, and these are GT3 cars. Bonjour showing himself. He has to tuck in to the slipstream to try and get the move back done into to Lake Combe. He is close enough to get the slipstream, but doesn't look like that he got the overspeed out of Radion. So this is definitely an overtake done and dusted from Fibonacci. Jumping down to Wolf, who's putting pressure on Planners ahead of him. Johan Planners ahead of him. Of course it is. Both in Mercedes cars, so not much difference in them. Of course, setups can vary between the cars, but great run from Wolf there through Rouge and Radion. He will have the move done coming into Lake Combe. He's already passed him before Lake Combe. Safe move done there as a drive-through penalty has been handed to Dimaric for track limits. Good, strong, decisive move from Wolf. I don't know what happened to Joel, but it did look like that he had to lift there through the corners. Actually, it's a DQ, I think. Yeah, I think he DQ'd. That can only have been speeding in the pit bar, but that's interesting. Unfortunate for him. No, it is just a drive-through, but there is someone who DQ'd as we have a black marking in on the track at DSQ. That's DeBoris. That's DeBoris who got disqualified. The fan favorite on YouTube, of course. Ooh. DeBoris. What number was DeBoris? Everyone, could you maybe remind us? He is number 25. I'm being whispered in the back of my ears. Oh well, at least mentally, I'm being whispered that. Tickling my brain. Less than half an hour to go. Wolf still, Wolf actually seems to be gapping Planners by a little bit at this point. Doubtful that Planners can strike back in this one. Seems like that he will just have to have conceded the position to Wolf. But interestingly enough, Fadril, who's on quite some quick paces, just 4 seconds behind these drivers, he could probably still come up and challenge for these positions later on in this race. As the number 5 car goes in to serve his drive-through penalty. He will drop down quite a bit after that. Manto said that Flavio Di Borres, aka my favorite driver, got DSQ'd. Yeah, I think that DSQ must have been either reversing on track or speeding severely in the pit lane. Most, most, most likely that was speeding in the pit lane. To be perfectly honest with you guys out there, but hey, it is what it is. He will be on for the next race, hopefully, and he'll be back on fighting for a chance for good positions. Luke Wilson comes into the pits from the lead of the race, handing it over to Bart Swearing, temporarily at least. As Filipacci have started to gap Bonjours a little bit, though Bonjours is still within the within a gap that he can claim some slipstream. But look at that, Kleefeld is actually coming back into that fight ever so slightly. He's find some pace in the second half of this race, or maybe it's just a battling between Filipacci and Bonjours who that caused that. Greg Hill catching up to Denise Pope. This have been coming for quite a few laps at this point. He have been looking to have a little bit more pace than Pope, who needs to navigate some back marker traffic. The same goes for Craig Hill. Both of them going a little bit wide and stuff there through the bus stop chicane. As Craig Hill is also just not that far ahead of the Gore. Actually, that's the car you can see in the back of that dual back marker train. But Hill, he's doing a good job in the BMW. We have seen the Beamer do well in the hands of some drivers, but for many drivers, it's kind of a stable car to drive, a little bit to the understeery side. Not the strongest of weapons, but easy to drive for drivers. Most people who drives the BMW could probably find a little bit of speed and not that much different in driving style by going to the Aston Martin. But of course, the BMW is a good-looking car, so of course you want to drive that car when you're Craig Hill. Also fun. This is Di Borres, what he does in the pits. Yeah, he just forgets the pit speed limit. You can see he activates it there a little bit late. Or trying to get something on at least. He will go through here and then he's disqualified, yeah. That can only have been speeding in the pits. Big unfortunate there for him. Blitzman comes into the pits. Luke Wilson leads the guys who have pitted so far. Obviously, as he only took fuel in his pit stop. So Wilson will virtually have the lead of the race, or virtually has the lead of the race. It does seem like that Hill is up to Chris Haas, who's putting the pressure on Kleefeld. Kleefeld have dropped back from Bonjours as he have now gone on to defensive mode from Chris Haas in the Audi, of course. Let's have a good look here. Chris Haas is close enough for the move into La Source. Tries the outside line. This will be a tough one to pull off, but he can try for the cutback. Does have the speed, but he will probably have to lift going into Eau Rouge. If he doesn't go through, he's actually so side by side. Will be 50-50 whether or not who have to lift here, but it does look like that Haas lifts. But he does get a bit of run out of Eau and Radion. This could be done and dusted. Tucks into the slipstream, tries to move out. Not enough overspeed that time around. Now he moves out for the outside. Not enough to get the move done before they come, but they will have to do a braking duel. And Chris Haas does go through very tight on the inside, close to contact, but they both keep it on track. No one touches so far. Still side by side through the exit of Lake Coombe. Chris Haas on the outside gets the move done on Kleefeld. Into Brussels, he now has position. And now we are back live, I presume. our entire system decided that there was too much yelling going on and decided we all needed a little bit of a break. So yeah, hit the like and subscribe button for for more yelling in your ears. Hope you're not listening with a headset on. Or you could say that we had the disconnect just to make DeBoris not feel like he's the only one who gets those issues. Speaking of issues, Bonjours have caught up to Fubarachi once again and are right on the back of him. Well, not speaking of issues, but just saying speaking of for the sake of saying speaking of. Bonjours, yeah, he had that position for quite a long time, but one small mistake and Fubarachi slipped through. I was honestly expecting Fubarachi to just gap him immediately after, but doesn't seem like Fubarachi had that much overspeed on Bonjours. Blitzma came out of the pits after only doing the splash and dash. She's currently 12th in the 6th nice car. Having gotten that strategy done well. Franz van Linden got up to 18th on that for him, just behind half. Still Bart Swearing and Frank Hopp, we need to see into the pits at some point in this race. 16 minutes to go. As Finnerman and DeGore is also duking it out further down the field. But these drivers, they have been showing us non-stop battling throughout the entirety of this race. So good to see when drivers are this close together. And honestly doing quite good lap times. These two drivers, they are not slouches by any stretch of the imagination. Different lines there through the bus stop. Slight little wiggle there from Fubarachi. He might start to feel the pressure from Bonjours. He knows that if he gets a bad exit of just one corner, then Bonjours will be all over him afterwards. Little bit of a wiggle there from Bonjours. Now Fubarachi can get some a little bit of a gap. As in the back corner, I think that's the DeGore battle we have going on there. No, it's not. It's Draper and what did you say? Willand? Oh, Gallant. It's Gallant and Draper. It's 22nd and 23rd. Gallant currently leading this battle and leading the rookie class at the minute. Trying to follow along on both sets of battles. It can be a challenging thing being a commentator, of course, and this is one of the most challenging parts of it, trying to figure out what's going on where. As Gallant and Draper have to negotiate a back marker car as they are on the start or the finish straight. Coming into La Source for them as Bonjours and Fubarachi goes through Puong. Little bit of a mistake there from Gallant, it looked like. This could mean that Draper gets some sort of a run leading into to a Rouge. Whether or not that he can carry some overspeed coming out of a Rouge and ready on without understeering the car. It looks like Draper's the one understeering the car. Oh, Gallant is one understeering the car, and Draper now has the opportunity for an outside move, but I think that that Draper lifted off his will there to try and not run into the back of Gallant as Draper goes through for position. The McLaren overtake there. Good to see that that they could get that one sorted. Gallant might have let that one go easily as he knows that it doesn't matter if Draper overtakes him for his championship aspirations in the rookie class. Which leaves us once again with this great battle for what, 5th at the minute. This could be a battle for 3rd overall or 2nd overall in the race. As Bonjours on the outside now trying the cutback or whatever you'd call it on Fubarachi through La Source. Bonjours are close enough now. He will try and force Fubarachi to have to lift a little bit, but doesn't work. Very close through Rouge and ready on. Have to lift there a bit, but he does fall a little bit too far back there to get the run into to Lake Com. He could try a full launch, but it will probably not work from this distance. That Aston just seems to be so quick in a straight line. But again, following close behind another driver through Rouge and Radion with all the dirty air, that can be a little bit tricky. Although we know that both these drivers took fresh tires in the pits, or at least we think they took fresh tires in the pits. And so they shouldn't have any tire issues, at least through Rouge and Radion, compared to a driver like maybe Luke Wilson, Francorchamps, and Bart Swearing. At least they will be running the same set of tires all the way through. Patrick Blisters, one of the drivers who I believe only took fuel. Very close to Iron van der Linden in the classic 14 car, the Golf Lyric car on that one. Blisters does have a reasonable run. If he can get anything out of it, we'll have to wait and see. He does pull out, showing himself on the inside, but is he close enough for this? Van der Linden gives him plenty of room, but not enough, it looks like. Slight tap there, but nothing came out of that. No spins, no nothing. Probably not even mentionable bodywork damage. Just a little bit of trading paints, maybe. As Blister moves up into 20th position with that move. Van der Linden was very kind to him there, leaving the door wide open on the inside. Ooh, that's a race leader, current race leader. I've been around in Lake Com. Moving slowly out of that. But nevertheless, Blisters goes on to take the position and does gap Van der Linden quite quickly at this point. Van der Linden is not really staying close to Blisters, but it could just be a matter of where these cars are good on the track. Sel Wiseman currently P2 in the rookie class. P25 overall, not that far behind Curses, to be honest. In this race, small yellow there for the 17 car. Don't even know who that is. I feel like it's some driver that we should know the name of at this point. Nevertheless, Sel Wilsman of Weismans in the 1111 car, also one of the drivers who chose the Aston. We don't see that many of the Astons in Tier 1, but in Tier 2 there are not quite a few, but there are some drivers at least choosing the car, and I do understand why. It's a very drivable car, and it is very easy to go fast in, and somewhat easy to go super fast in. So good solid option for cars, for drivers who are getting into the game and just wanting to get a maximum pace as early as possible without changing it with difficult cars. They will notice that Garcia, one of the drivers who returned to garage much earlier in the race. Unfortunate for him, as he had some good results last season. But yeah, Weisman, you can't say much about him, except he's doing a good job of just keeping going. Up to the battle between Jesse Van Dryle and Wolf. Van Dryle was 4 seconds behind not that long ago, as Francorchamps actually goes into the pits as well. But Jesse Van Dryle putting the pressure on Wolf. This could be a mighty comeback for Van Dryle after the big crash with the spinning car earlier, and then he went into the wall. It's a little bit later than that, but he does seem to have found his mojo once again, though Chris Haas has actually taken the fastest lap of the race away from Van Dryle. But Van Dryle really close, tied up the wing of Wolf. He might actually have a shot into the bus stop. Very close through Blanchimont. He might have to lift to avoid running into the back of him. No, oh no, he should have probably lifted there as he takes out Wolf. As Wolf actually... Van Dryle is slowing down quite a bit. Is he actually waiting for Wolf? I don't think he will, as Wolf is not moving yet. Oh dearie me, Van Dryle. that's that wasn't optimum, but it is what it is. Van Dryle keeps going. Francorchamps now exiting the pits. Let's see where he emerges. 11th at the minute, 12th now. He definitely gained quite a few positions on only taking fuel. There's a car that's blocking his exit of the pits there. Down into 14th goes Francorchamps. Whoop! That seemed like Wolf was having some issues behind there as well. And Lars Gottman was the driver who, the other Swiss driver, who's the one who bended there through Rouge, having big damage. I think it's just time to return that car to garage, mate, and call it a day. That's not something that you're getting back out there in this race, I think. Todd Curtis have just overtaken Galandas. I feel like Galandas is just taking it nice and safe, keeping the class lead, not risking anything. Van Dryle has great case for greatest start to finish absolutely in the bin within 90 minutes. Yeah, that was a tongue twister you put up there, Mr. Satnev. House car 79. Denise Pope is actually doing quite well, running within the top 10 of the race. There's Rita Spark here, and that's Vice maybe that he's side-by-siding. I think it is Vice. He's side-by-siding for that would be 4th in the rookie class. There's still side-by-side into Puong. Very aware driving there. At least from Faris. Rieterberg goes slightly wide. Is it the other way around? I think it's hard to say really. We need to get further into the season, so we start learning the names of these drivers a bit more. Rita Bush pushing hard, trying to get it back on Faris now. Outside into Stavalo and Paul Frere. This could mean that he gets the run, but he might have to lift here to secure that he's not going into the back of the McLaren of Head. But the McLaren lifted it at a much later point, which gives Ritter Bush a great run, and he gets the move. Then slight contact there coming into the corner before Blanchimont. Still very close. Do they get the car settled before Blanchimont? They do. Slight bit contact there, but that Ritter Bush got through at the end and takes a P4 in class. Remember, anything can still happen to the other drivers. A little bit of a spin or something would be possible. And Van Dryle got spun around by a backmarker. He did that very early in the race at least. And I think Cohen's is spun. Or Cohen Geens is spun as well. In Rouge, ready on. Might be running a little bit too aggressive of setup on that car. He's dropping down the field like a fly on my walls. Although they just keep flying around, so they're not really dropping. They're too fast for me to catch them. Denise Pope up in 6th position. She did do a good strategy call and went into the pits as she was stuck in traffic. Still battling Craig Hill, as we have seen her being defending this position ahead of Craig Hill for a good half an hour at this point, I would say. But Craig is getting close, and then he's dropping a bit back, maybe after a failed overtaking attempt from time to time. Showing on the inside does Craig, but falls in behind Pope into the bus stop chicane. Still close enough that he could potentially try and get the run out of La Source, as he can carry the slipstream behind Denise Pope, and that could become an overtaking opportunity into Lacombe. But looks like that Hill just didn't get the grace of exits there through La Source. But it is gaining a little bit into a Rouge. Does Craig Hill, and he is tucked into the slipstream. This could actually be the lap where he can get a move done, even though that McLaren are quite fast in a straight line. So maybe not at all. Maybe not after all. No, and the thing is to trick out Denise Pope, you have to get up very early in the morning which, to be fair, a lot of drivers have done to be here, as there are a lot of Americans racing north and south, of course, and centrals. So they might actually have a shot at that, but Craig Hill needs to get up earlier to trick Denise. Denise is not a driver that you can just sell the dummy and count that she'll bite on it. So we'll see what happens. How come Kisa lost out so much on the pits? Kisa who? Are the question? Oh, Karen Morphle, we don't know, but shit stop, I assume. Or feces stop, I should say, as we can't say shit on the stream. Chris is making me laugh in the background, as Hill is putting a lot of pressure on Denise Pope as the leader, starting the final lap of the race. Now Luke Wilson takes the white flag at that point. So this means that Craig Hill will only have one more lap to try and get through Denise Pope. He is very close now on the run up towards Blanchimont. But will he be too close through Blanchimont? We have seen a lot of mistakes in this. He goes for the outside into switching it to the inside. Maybe no, back to the outside for Craig Hill. Make a decision, man. Doesn't get it. Try to sell Denise for the dummy, but as I said, you have to get up way too early to do that final lap for these drivers. So 5 kilometers of racing to go. Or is it 7 around Spa? I can't remember. Someone in the YouTube chat is probably smarter than me and will tell me exactly how long this track is in centimeters, preferably. But nevertheless, Craig Hill, Denise Pope, they'll be duking it out for the end of this race. Denise is currently 3rd in class, actually, and that's something to carry on. Whoa, no, there she might have lost the position on the final lap to Craig Hill. They're side by side. She falls in behind Craig Hill. Craig tries to break the toe, moves back in. Denise, not she can't be happy with herself after that one. A rare mistake from Pope there. Looks like that Hill might have secured this position if he can just keep it on track for the remainder of the lap. It's 7 clicks long. And 400 centimeters for unknown reasons. Well, for known reasons, because that's how they made the track. But up with Bonjours and Filbaratti, they are still going in this race. Chris Haas actually caught up a lot to these drivers throughout their battling, as Luke Wilson is getting very close to taking the checkered flag and winning the race, being quite surprisingly winning from the AM class and taking the overall win, even though he's in AM. Good job from Luke Wilson, taking the checkered flag, winning the first round of the SSRI GT3 Season 6 Tier 2 Championship. But across the line, yeah, across the line I go. Here we go. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Filbaratti, Bonjours, and Haas very close together, coming over the line. Less than a second splits these drivers apart. They can be very, very happy with the show that they have put on. Great drive from Cleveland. Goes across the line to snatch 5th position, as Craig Hill and Denise Pope will be the next 2 drivers coming across the line. Bonjours finishing 2nd in the AM class, Pope in 3rd. Bart Swearing with the late pit stop, getting a lot of positions on that, up into 8th position. Michael de Gore 9th. Flintman and Jesse Van Dryle will be next to cross the line. Flintman and Van Dryle still duking it out. Can Van Dryle get the launch out of the bus stop chicane? Does look like that he has the line for it, but not enough there for Van Dryle. He will be very close across the line, but de Gore, Flintman takes it in front of Van Dryle. Marcellinis comes in 12th. Blitzman half close together as well over the lines. Jon in 15th. Frank Hupp P16 also with the late stop. Frans van der Linden next one to cross line. Feel like he had the late stop as well. Coming across line, Blitzman, Draper close together across the line. They went. Iron van der Linden P20. Good job from him. Todd Curtis, the American driver in 25th. We did see him spun around earlier in the race. Bowen Geens will be next to cross the line, and then the winner of the rookie category. No, yeah, the winner of the rookie category would be David Gallant, the Canadian driver. Second place will be Sylv Wismans, and someone gets a drive-through at the end of the race for unknown reasons. And the third in rookie category would be Spooner, but Karen Morfield 24th position, Steve Parker 25th. And then the rest of the drivers as well across the line will be waiting for interviews in the in the comments box. You go into the interview waiting room if you want to tell us a little bit about your race and have a chat with myself, Oliver Anderson, Mr. One of Oliver, and Chris Hill, of course, behind the cameras, who might not have a thing or two to say. But what a race we was treated to this time around. Race 1 of the Tier 2 Championship. Big grid. Big action. We saw everything from hard brakes, big spins, big crashes, great overtakes, battles that went on for literally 75 minutes, trying to duke each other out on undercuts and overcuts. People going long, taking only fuel, people stopping in for tires halfway through. What a race we had this time around. Top performance from everyone. Ooh, as I forgot to save the replay. Can I still snatch it? Don't know if I got that one. Actually, I need to turn on auto saving replays for no reason, but I bet you someone else will have caught up as we are joined in the box. Welcome to the box, Mr. Bonjours.
Hello, it's Bourgeois. Yeah, that's enough.
You can say that all you want. What a race you had. You were battling, I already forgot his name, but what an amazing race you had. Great battles for 75 minutes straight on.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm so achy. I'm sweaty. I'm achy. Yeah, it's been quite intense. But yeah, it was a great battle. I mean, I think I was driving Porsche, and I felt like at the end of the stint, it's more unstable, especially on the rear. So I felt like the Aston Martin had a bit more pace just by, I think it's just more stable. So I also had 2 track limit warning within the first 10 minutes. So I had to drive a bit conservative after that. But yeah, no, it was great. Great race. It's been a long time since I didn't have such close battles. So yeah, all good. Thank you.
There were a lot of nerves on it, but a good result in the first round. Are you maybe putting yourself in there for championship contentions? Even though it's early, of course, to say, but top performance at least this time around. This could mean good results later on in the season.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I can fast enough to be champion, but maybe if you are like consistent, then that's how you're gonna win. But yeah, if I do third every round, I'll take that.
We actually have seen previously people maybe not winning the championship by averaging third, but we have seen championship winners who actually never managed to win a race during the season, but just being super consistent. As more often than not, at least 1 or 2 times you'll have some sort of incidents during the course of a season with at this packed field. And we did see some unfortunate incidents there in the race with Jesse Van Dryle, especially being first caught out by a spinning back marker, and then I think close battling with you guys further down the field where he just went into a wall.
Yeah, I saw there was a couple of incidents. So yeah, someone hit back marker, I think, and then yeah, I think the guy in front of me at the beginning of the race, he had a spin in the bus stop chicane. So yeah, I'll take that. But yeah, no, it was great racing.
Definitely. Before we round you off and jump to David Gallant, and just one quick question. Will you be watching the replay of the stream tonight and looking at how much track or airtime you got yourself and how much it butchered your name during the race?
Yeah, I'm gonna relax for 5 minutes and then I'll have a look because yeah, I got a lot of message because I shared the stream with my brother and I saw he was messaging me on Instagram. There was lots of notifications. I was like, I can't read, but yeah, I'll have a look now.
Oh, thank you. Anyways, jumping on to David Gallant, the winner of the rookie class. First time we have a rookie class racing with us. David, it didn't seem like you had too much contention for the rookie class win. But are you happy with the result? We did see you battling some other cars during the race, of course.
Oh yeah, hey, thanks for having me on. Honestly, it still felt like a tight race, even though I couldn't really tell how far ahead, because with the pit and everything, you don't know where they're gonna come out. I mean, the guy behind me, he seemed to be coming ahead. Like, I don't know if he was catching up or not, but yeah, it was a good race all in all.
Yeah, with the early win, of course, in the rookie class. Do you reckon that you'll be up there again in 2 weeks' time when we go racing on the Red Bull Ring?
Red Bull Ring, I've got some experience, but there's definitely a couple tracks at the end of the season that are gonna be tricky for me. Like, I've never done Indianapolis, so I'm gonna have to do some practice on that.
Oh, you can only look forward to that. That's a great track and a championship decider. So if you're in that battle for the final round, then I assume that we'll see you a lot on the practice servers.
Yeah, honestly, it's just exciting, man. It was fun racing with all 3 classes. Like, I don't know if you could see out there, but it was definitely a battle with a couple of cars throughout the race. So I mean, it's just good to keep it on track, thankfully.
Yeah, we did see you a little bit on the stream from time to time. Did you have into consideration that some of the cars that you were battling was not in the same class as you, and that you might want to take it a little bit more safe than go for big moves?
Yeah, I understand. There was a couple spots where I was kind of hoping they would choose a better spot to get, but they just never got a good run on me. So I figured, like, what is their only option to dive bomb? I was kind of, I don't know. It's a tough call. I guess being a rookie too, don't really have enough experience with it,
No, well, you are allowed to defend your position on the other classes, of course. So they have to find a way through it. If you're quicker in a straight line, then it's their fault for picking a wrong setup.
Red Bull Ring, I've got some experience, but there's definitely.
As we are joined by Sil Waymans as well, finishing second in class. But just rounding off you, David and Sil, we can hear the stream in the background from you.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyways, David, just rounding off you. Obviously, the Red Bull Ring. Tough track, but you reckon that you can keep up the pace, of course, in the sprint race, of course, with the reverse grid that will happen there. Then there'll be both a race of attacking and defending for you, we assume.
Yeah, today was a tight race. I was catching a bit in the end, but I fell back, and I hope to do better on the Red Bull Ring, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I look forward to a good battle with you.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting, I hope.
Having the top 2 of the rookie class in here, quick questions. Do you guys reckon that you'll be the championship contenders? Of course, it's early to say after one race, but David had a good race, not really contested for the win here, and still I think we did see you have some sort of issues earlier in the race.
Yeah, I think it was just a lack of pace, to be honest. I don't know what the issue was, but I just couldn't keep up.
No, but it seemed like you got on it later in the race and maybe not clawed in time, but got a bit more comfortable in the car maybe throughout that.
You had me nervous. I was looking in that times all the time, wondering if you were catching up.
Yeah, I saw I was coming back to like 3 seconds, and then I fell back to, I think, 6 seconds in the end. So yeah, it was close, but no cigar.
Unfortunate. Looking ahead on the rest of the season, any tracks that you guys feel like is that's the track for you where you think that you'll be on top of your game? Oh, don't talk over each other. Just go one at a time, please.
I have done some Red Bull Ring in the past, so I think I'm gonna be most comfortable there out of all the tracks. So I hope Red Bull Ring is gonna be my best. And the rest of the tracks, I don't really have a lot of experience, so still gonna have to learn them more.
That's
Yeah,
good to
it-
hear. I think that's going to be good to hear, because Red Bull Ring's like, I've got some experience and it's going to be a good battle, but I think Imola is kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, for sure. Imola is also one of my favorite tracks, to be honest, to drive. I don't seem to ever get good results there. Someone always decides to take me out or hit a curve a little bit too hard. But it is sort of an interesting calendar. There are both tracks on the calendar that lends themselves to high-speed cars and sort of high-speed cornering, and a few tracks that comes into the more slow-speed speed cars like Laguna Seca. Are you fearing Laguna by any means?
I am, yeah. I've raced it a few times, and I just think it's a tricky track. Like, it's tricky to stay on track.
Oh, but you're almost a hometown favorite for that one.
Yeah, close, I guess.
I haven't really raced on Laguna Seca yet, so I just hope to be consistent in every race, and we'll see what result it brings.
And you know what? Consistency is normally what wins championships in SSRI. We have seen that quite a few times. We have had a single champion who managed not to win any races during the course of a season. So it's just keeping in there and pray that David will have some sort of incidents throughout the season and that he'll drop down.
Yeah, who knows?
But one final question before we round off the stream for both of you guys. What do you reckon was the worst airship disaster in history?
No comment.
Okay, we can also take another question from the bank of no. We'll do silly questions another day. Anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for coming into the commentary box. I have been Oliver Anderson, Mr. One of Oliver, performing the amazing, talented voiceovers or commentary, as some would say, of this evening's event. Behind the cameras have been Grandpa Chris Hill. Thank you all for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you all next week when the Tier 1 guys go sprint racing on the Red Bull Ring. And no intro song or exit song this season.